Video games, that's all I've got.
That's all any of us have, guys. Hey everyone, welcome to Elden Dogs, your favorite podcast about Elden Ring and beer and Elden Ring.
It sure is.
It sure as heck is. My name is Sir Gideon Ofnir. I am just so smart. I am so handsome. Everybody loves me. And if you just showed up to the round table hold, fuck you, you suck. I am in charge, just so everyone knows.
I'm Dylan the Dung Eater. It's been a while since I've podcasted, so I'm ready to get back into the swing of this.
What was going on, Tarnished?
Oh, I got my appendix taken out. Emergency appendectomy.
By like the Scarlet Rot or?
Yeah, that, definitely. No, my gut felt like Scarlet Rot that night, I'll tell you that much.
It's supposed to be real painful.
It was worse.
It's supposed to be really painful.
I've passed kidney stones where it's really hurt.
You've passed a kidney stone?
Yeah.
That's like one of my biggest fears of my entire life.
Just drink water, man. That's the
secret?
lesson. That's literally the secret. You'll develop less of a chance of doing that if you drink lots of water.
Gallon a day for this guy moving forward.
You might want to.
Just to combat the whiskey, lately I've been drinking a gallon of water.
But yeah, I got it taken out. It really hurt. It hurt way worse than the kidney stone.
Damn.
By a long shot. It starts in your upper abdomen, and then it travels down to your lower right abdomen. And I was just, I thought it was food poisoning because I've had food poisoning that felt kind of similar. And I was like, okay, well, I have none of the other symptoms. 3 a.m, I'm like, all right, time to take an Uber to the emergency room. And here I am 2 weeks later.
Back and better than ever.
You got a survivor.
Not better than ever. I'm not looking forward to going back to work.
You can't keep the Dung Eater down. I wonder what the Dung Eater's real name is. Is it just like Terrence?
That's Philip.
It's Philip the Dung Eater. Yeah.
Gregory.
And I am Iron Fist Alexander, big pot guy.
Yeah.
Big giant pot dude.
You're a big pothead.
Just a big pothead.
Yeah.
That's me.
Sounds
You're
about
just
right.
full of other dudes.
Yeah. Tons of dudes in there.
Yeah, so many dudes in you.
I'm a big melting pot of dudes.
You're like America.
Yeah.
Pass. Pass. Yes, we are continuing our discussion on the Caelid region. We got through the whole western half. We went through Aeonia.
Yeah.
We discussed Millicent and the pests. It was we're halfway through. There's still some more Caelid to discuss, but since we are rejoined by Alexander, who got out of the hole he was stuck in last episode.
Yep.
What were your initial thoughts on the Caelid region?
It looked scary, so I was scared of it because it's not like Limgrave. It looks bad over there. It looks like it looks like a no good, no fun time.
It looks like a no good, no fun zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was apprehensive to go over there, but I didn't want to go fight Margit again and get whooped early in the game. So I was like, I'll just go back and level up. And then my early experience with Caelid is I would much rather fight Margit.
Please, Margit.
Over and over and over because this place is scary. The giant evil dog things with the giant heads and the giant birds and those little fucks, the little fire fucks that blow up at you, and the tanks or whatever they are, the wagons, the
fire chariots.
flamethrowers. Yeah, the chariots.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a real slap in the face because it was like I thought this game was hard, but now this is actually super hard.
Well, the general progression is kind of what you've been doing throughout this entire series. You're supposed to travel south because you're supposed to get a little afraid.
You're supposed to kind of hit your head on Margit and turn and
go south.
Head south.
And even then you feel like because you don't know how big the map is until it actually fully reveals itself bit by bit. And you don't know if south has more or north has more.
Yeah.
You're kind of discovering it as you go. And Caelid is like the third continent to go to by most people's.
Third or fourth, right?
I mean, Liurnia, people end up at Liurnia because a lot of people ask how to get to the round table hold in Google.
Yeah.
Because if you look up how to get to the R, it's round table hold. That's the SEO.
I mean, I was confused initially the first time too. We had to pull the map up and it's in the bottom left. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know anyone who actually fought Margit, got through Stormvale just to get to the round table hold. I don't know anyone who's ever done that.
Yeah. usually you're going to get sent there a little ahead of that. But
Well, the cliff's edge around the side.
But discussing the order of progression, you what you want to do logically is enemy difficulty, how many runes they drop, and that's kind of a guide to like what area you should go in. Caelid doesn't follow these rules. Caelid has easier sections, and then they have end game content level stuff, which it's just absurd. And they don't want you to get to Caelid any straight way. You can follow the road, like we discussed, going up through the church and fighting the Tarnished Eater, the mean old lady nun.
Yeah.
Love her.
That's the way I went.
She should get her own movie or something.
That's the way I went too.
A psycho like priestess who just eats people. I love her.
Well, and I'm wary of all chess and Soulsborne games.
Dylan sees a treasure. He's like, I don't know, guys.
Because I'm always kind of half aware, and in a lot of these, they end up being mimic chests, which are literally just chests with teeth that have big, long, spindly legs and can one-shot you pretty easily.
Yeah.
So when I saw the smoke come out of there, I'm like, bye-bye. I just rolled back. I'm like,
You can roll away?
Yeah.
can roll away, yeah.
You can roll away from those.
I have never even tried that.
To me, I'm just like, ooh, smoke, and I put my head further in there.
Because now I'm remembering, like, the first time I went to Caelid on purpose, I went up by the Tarnished Eater. But I did get...
Anastasia, the Tarnished Eater.
when I was level 5 as the prisoner, who's not... He's kind of a glass cannon at the beginning.
Sure.
I got that chest over by the Black Dragon, the Burnt City, that took me to the mine in Caelid.
Right.
Which is, I think, how most people get there the first time.
Yeah, but I almost
Everyone falls for
restarted because it took me a day to get out of there because
those,
it doesn't drop you at the beginning or the end. It drops you in the middle. So
And,
I had to fight my way through.
Yeah.
And then I died, and I was like, well, at least I'll wake up at a site of grace. And it's like,
also-
no.
No, you're stuck there until
stuck.
you can get to a site of grace, and you have to fight those pests who've got the.
Well, you don't have to fight them. You can run if you're good at like the dodge maneuvering.
That's eventually what I did. And then I ended up in the swamp, and I was like, all right, Torrent, get me out of here. And then I ran into a giant dragon,
Well-
and there's the Scarlet Rot. It was terrifying.
You finally get out of that little cave, and then all of a sudden you're in the swamp, and you're like, this is a bad place. And then I went up to Celia, and then they were just invisible stoner like Burger King boys, and that was my first time seeing them. And everywhere I turned, it got worse. And that's my first time through Caelid was just running around on a horse and noping away from everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even still, like, I'm close to the end of the game. I still run away from stuff in Caelid. I'm just like, nah.
I guarantee there's still bosses around there that, I mean, there's one boss in there that my end game character, 103 hours, I still can't beat him. And
shit.
I haven't really put it in time, but also I'm like, I don't want to do that. That guy's mean. He's a mean guy.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played in a bit, but there was a chunk I really clocked in. And Caelid, Brad was showing me stuff, and I'm just like, how was I supposed to know how to do that? And how was I supposed to even observe that? I mean, this game is cool because it rewards the player for keen observation, but at the same time, I'm like, just show me a hidden room. Come on. Just do it.
Then you're into like one random cave, which is just based on fake walls.
Yeah.
And you have to hit like 10 fake walls in a row, and you're like, I'm not sure I'm going to do this right.
It harkens back to a different time in gaming. That's maybe the one thing I actually do enjoy about it.
As Gideon Ofnir, I of course know everything, so I was never worried at all. I'm always in charge of my own destiny.
I was, as Alexander, I was always punching walls anyway.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be rewarded for that finally.
Yeah.
Also, did you guys ever get to where he's on one end of like a tunnel?
Yeah. That's on the west side of Caelid.
Yeah. So I never got through that with him.
You enter from another side.
You enter from a different...
I found the other side because Moonveil is on the other side. I found that, but then when I went back to get him to be like, yo,
well, he's already gone to the festival.
Yeah.
There's like soft lockouts for these encounters that you have with the NPCs. Mm-hmm. Very confusing stuff, especially in a world like this. I've already missed a bunch of stuff that I looked up because I eventually have started to look things up about what to do, because doing that town in the in the northwest side, in the upper like mountainous regions. That town that you have to get through, where there are just literal motherfuckers with bows on the roof.
To get to the Holly Tree.
Yeah. I've almost wanted to break my controller in half.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. And yeah, not only are there bow guys, there's an invisible dude just fucking with you.
I know. And I'm like, I'm pretty high level. I'm like 120, somewhere around there. Yeah. And I still, like, one of those arrow shots takes me down, and then they have such long range that they can get you from multiple buildings away. And you're just like, well, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it.
But let's leave the dickheads at the consecrated fields alone. Let's talk about the assholes in Caelid.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were just getting past Celia last episode. And if you keep going along this path, the Church of the Plague, we talked about Millicent, but if you instead take the road kind of south of there, you can get on top of the gate of Celia.
Yep.
And you can go across this little like raised bit of land that has the swamp lookout tower. You can also kill the dickhead troll who is throwing things at you up there.
Never once experienced him.
Yeah, I didn't my first playthroughs, but until I was kind of exploring Caelid, trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. But up here in this lookout tower, I don't know if we talked about this last time. There's a Bloodhound Knight guarding a prison cell that has the Eternal Darkness spell.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you just have to fight this one Bloodhound Knight, and the Eternal Darkness is a pretty powerful spell. It creates a space of darkness that draws in sorceries and incantations. You throw up a little gravity ball, and it just, all projectiles get sucked into it.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a little void.
A little void, just toss it up.
That's cool.
It's good for PvP, from what I understand.
Which none of us know because we are not PvPers.
No.
But it was originally a lost sorcery of the Eternal City, and this is just gives you a really good look at the Swamp of Aeonia. You can see where the battle happened for our homie Radahn and Millennia. But if you head north of the Church of the Plague, you find the Celia Hideaway. And we're going to discuss some of this when we do a Cellin magic episode in 35 years. But Lusat, one of the founding magic magicians of Rey Lucaria, he's in there. You can get some good stuff, but otherwise it's this crazy crystal cavern. Hard to say 3 times fast. But this is where Celia's got some shit locked up. There's a royal revenant roaming around the bottom area and a few hidden doors. Essentially, though, you can find the Crystallians. You find a trio of them down there. I don't like those guys. Again, just
especially
beat the
when
shit
there's
out
3 of them.
Yeah, you
just
definitely
seems unfair.
you need some spirit.
Getting to the
actions for
point
that.
where you break them is frustrating. If you have a mimic tier, it's kind of the easiest thing in the world because they do succumb to Scarlet Rot, if I remember correctly. They can get rot. I'm a rot boy. That's kind of, I don't know if you knew that I was rocking like dragon incantations that absolutely wipe the floor with people just through like poisoning my enemies.
Yeah.
It's so good though. And then I looked it up. I was on the Reddit page for Elden Ring, and it's just like Elden Ring is hard. Except it was
controversial.
Elden Ring is hard starter pack, or Elden Ring is easy starter pack, and then it has like the Dragon's Breath with Scarlet Rot, and I'm like, oh, I just chose right.
Yeah,
not too bad.
You just got good taste.
Moonveil is on there too. Like it's actually kind of dope. I'm like, okay,
Sword of Night and Flame.
Yep. They're all on there.
Very overpowered for sure. These Crystallians, you get a crystal spear down there. You get some machine gun crystal spell called the Crystal Torrent. But we'll move on from there, and then you're going to head up to a whole new area in Caelid called the Dragonbarrow. Now, when the Scarlet Rot took over here in Caelid, the dragons retreated essentially. They went up to the highest area they could, which is the northeastern area. Mm-hmm. This is the fuck you hard area.
That's the area with like the 3 dragons and then the big dragon, right?
The big dragon.
Yeah, that's a nope for me. I noped the fuck out of
Big
there.
dragon's not that hard.
Well, it's
speak for yourself, man.
The Dragonbarrow. It's called.
Do you have the mimic tier yet?
I didn't when I fought him the first time, but if I go back,
well, you're talking about the monstrously large dragon.
Yeah.
You're fighting him wrong, and you're fighting her wrong, I should say. It's Grayl's Dragonbarrow is this area. Grayol is the elder dragon, the big one. She is the mother of all dragons. She is very old and suffering from scarlet rot. She can't even move barely. She only has one attack, and that is her dragon roar, which just lowers your stats and summons babies to fight you.
Hooray.
I mean, even the babies gave me it. Well, I had no business being up there when I was up there, and I noped out. Mm-hmm. So I have not been back, and I was probably up there at about level like 30.
Oh, that's not nearly enough.
And I've never gone back.
No reason to.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to go.
Well, you can attack the tail. Find a little area back in the tail. She won't respond. The little dragons won't be able to get you. And you can just sit there. It'll take a while because that dragon's got a lot of health. But you can kill the big dragon with... you can do it level 1 easy. It's just going to take a long time. Trick is use blood loss build up.
Well, that's what I've been doing wrong.
But also, this dragon's doing nothing. It's the mother of all dragons. Maybe leave her alone. But if you don't, you get 50,000 runes and 5 hearts, so that's cool too.
There's not a lot of like moral quandaries in this game, actually, like legitimately. There's like no morality in this universe at all.
The more you learn about Volcano Manor, the worse you'll feel about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's true. There are options to completely skip that though, which is kind of a cool choice.
How would you be able to skip that though?
You don't have to. I mean, if you want to get the best armor in the game, you're going to have to kill some good people.
Bernard's or
the bull goat Tragoth.
Oh yeah.
And he's known for being a legendary knight of assistance. He just goes and helps everybody, and you're like, you got some cool looking armor.
I'm gonna need that, please.
Yeah.
I went through the quest lines because I wanted all the items that are associated with it. Yeah, it's a logical step.
Yeah, I'm not role playing like I am this character, and this character loves French fries but hates hot dogs.
You should have played the way I did. I role played as a yes man, and it was the easiest thing in the world. You just say yes to everything.
Well, I mean, it's
great way to kill people.
I did kill a lot of people.
Well, it got me thinking about like video games in general, as I was saying earlier, and I'm like, well, in Red Dead Redemption 2, there's this morality system where even if you come across someone on the side of a road and they're like, oh, I'm dying. You got to give me like a health tonic. And I'm like, I don't have one. And then literally it's like it's like you're more towards like the bandit side than you are to like the cowboy hero paragon side or like noble hero. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
You're like, I literally don't have a tonic to give the guy.
I'm like, I literally didn't have one and I just watched him die on the side of the road. And with this game, it's more like, I'll wait here until you get me that tonic. It's like, you can't role play anything. You're not really you're making these choices, but they're so obtuse that you don't know what your decision's actually going to mean. It's kind of a roll of the dice rather than like making a choice.
You don't know the repercussions of what you're doing until you do it. You're like, oh, I'm helping my buddy Bach. He's going to be great. And then he turns into a handsome idiot.
Yeah, he just turns into a good-looking vegetable.
Yep.
With a stupid hat.
Yeah.
Like broccoli.
What the fuck are you doing, phone? I didn't tell you to do anything. Good God. I'm usually so good about this, too.
Dung Eater's very popular today.
I'm not popular. It just went right to voicemail for no reason.
Yes. So kill the dragon or don't kill the dragon, but it's easy runes. Just
how many does it give?
50,000 runes.
That's not bad.
It's not for getting essentially a free battle. It just takes a long time. It's not bad.
I think my level up right now is 60,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Just to the east of, maybe northeast of Grayol, you'll find Fort Feroth, which I have put down a truly despicable place full of bats and rats and ghosts. Fuck this place.
The bats are a wicked pain in the ass.
This is so mean.
If I didn't have, so there's a great incantation called Flame Cleanse Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
essentially it's like burning all of the shit off of you.
And it has saved me so much trouble. It's how I got across the Lake of Rot. It's how I did all that.
It's a good strategy.
It's wonderful. Like, I'm like, why? I mean, the utility alone of faith-based spells is off the charts. Not really damage, but everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, I am really happy I transitioned to a faith build because the buffs are really good. The Flame Cleanse Me I used quite a bit, and it's crazy to see. Like when I first started, how difficult the game was because obviously you don't have all these spells, and I wasn't playing a faith class.
Yeah.
I was the prisoner. But then getting them and then going back to areas that really gave me a hard time, it was like day and night, like flipping a switch.
Yep. I mean, if they're resistant to magic, you're screwed.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas you can be like lightning, fire, like dark fire, like all that stuff can be at your disposal.
So you just walk into Fort Faroth, and then maybe like 7 bats just start descending on you.
Be careful,
and they poison the shit out of you too.
Well, they use that mist, that poison mist that they spray at you.
Yeah.
That was a really good interpretation.
That's how they move.
I hate them.
Well, I try to go slow, and nope. I poison to death or something happens. I bring in my dogs, and my dogs just try and distract them. At best, I will just be poisoned and get up the ladder and leave them all alive, and my dogs are dead. But
well, the unfortunate part is there's not a lot of reason to go through it.
Well, I mean, there's some cool things here, but you don't need them. So you get to the top, and then you think this fort's abandoned. Then all the ghosts start waking up. These ghost knights, and they'll get you too. Try and spawn them in one at a time, but there are some mean ones in there. But up on top here, you will find the Dectus Medallion. This is the other half. This is the right half. So you can get up to the Altus Plateau if you don't want to use the other entrance.
Right.
The stairs to Shelob. If you want to take the regular way. Hidden in there, though, is another spot. I
love that you called the big magma worm Shelob.
It's more like the alternate path into Mordor a little bit.
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But... so if you drop back into the fort from above, there's a little area you can jump back this weird angle, and then you can find a talisman in there, Radagon's Sore Seal. This is one of the 8 legendary talismans. Increases vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity, but you take more damage. So one of the 8 legendary talismans, pretty cool. If you want to get all the achievements, you'll need that one. Very important, right?
I will not be getting all the achievements.
Like most people, you probably just ran through here full speed and didn't kill anything after you tried a few times. At least that's what I did.
I got the talisman, and I got the other half of the, whatchamacallit.
The Dectus Medallion, yeah.
Yep. I actually, because I had ranged, I was primarily using ranged attack at that point. Yeah. I didn't have a terrible time with the ghosts, and I had the Mimic Tear, so I was like, there was like 2 of me.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool, which I didn't even realize, which was so stupid, like when I fought like the fire giant, is if you limit the amount of spells in your spell pool, they will tend to just use those. Like if I wanted him to do Scarlet Rot on the enemy, I just only equip Scarlet Rot and maybe heal so it can heal himself. It's perfect.
Yeah, you can control what they do by limiting their options, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'll use everything at their disposal, and it's really annoying.
Yeah. There needs to be Gambit's FF12 style available for all party members.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they're not really party members. They're just...
I'm just having bad flashbacks to Donald and Goofy in Kingdom Hearts being extremely useless, actively hurting me.
Yeah, Donald, heal me. You can heal me right now. No, I won't.
Goofy just running full speed head first into guys. Yeah, it's Goofy. Yes.
He's supposed to be the tank. You never know.
You can then head northwest of there. You'll find the Celia Everjail. This jail holds an esteemed battle mage who could not satiate his lust for conflict. His name was Hughes, or Hugues. Hugues?
How's it spelled?
Hugues.
Hughes?
Hugues?
HughesNet.
Hughes. Maybe, I don't know.
It's the battle mage, we'll call him.
Yep, battle mage.
Yeah.
Hugues.
He came from Celia to study the Hema Conspectus at the Academy, where he became a battle mage. Of course, Hema scholars like to use cannon fire and gavel to dish out justice. He became obsessed and just started punishing people that didn't need to be punished. So he got locked away. Yes.
Tragic.
America.
Yep.
That could mean a lot of different things. Just suffice it to say,
just think of like General Custer.
Lock him up. Yeah. if you keep going northwest of there, you can find the isolated merchant shack. This is a very useful merchant, actually. Sells the beast repellent torch. This will scare away almost everything in Caelid. It's a torch that repels beasts. So if you go back to Fort Faroth with this, you just hold it up when you walk in. Bats will stay away from you.
What?
Dogs, crows, you can go up to those big motherfuckers and just walk through and none of them will attack you.
Fuck off.
Pretty cool, right?
I've been riding the struggle bus for how long and that existed?
Yeah, well, you never think like, ooh, I better get this new torch. You never think of the torch as a weapon when they are.
Well, yeah, they don't really, they don't clue you in. I mean, they do clue you in.
It literally says beast repellent.
I know, but like, you never know what these things mean until you avidly test them out. They're not saying like repels this, this, and this.
Yeah, I would have thought I still would get attacked, but no, you can actually just like walk through certain areas and nothing will fuck with you.
Right.
So that's cool. Also, we'll sell serpent arrows if you want some poison arrows, and an ash of war, which is cool. Here, if you come back at night, there will be a bell-bearing hunter that will drop 50,000 runes. This is the most difficult bell-bearing hunter in the game.
Oh, shit.
And a lot of people say this is one of the toughest enemies in the entire game. I put down the final boss of the game in my description here. Yeah, he's a mean motherfucker and unrelenting.
God,
still haven't beaten him on my main one.
I'm still trying to fight the beast cleric. Beast cleric.
Garok.
I'm not revealing anything.
We're going to reveal it. We're going to go
at a certain point. I don't know how far you're in.
In Caelid or just the general game?
Just in the general game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, you know that I know you know the cleric, but
Alexander doesn't mind getting spoiled. He just wants to get strong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He lifts.
It's Malekith.
Malekith
Is actually the beast cleric.
No shit.
Yep.
I think I know who that is. I'm so bad with the names in this game.
Who I'm still having trouble with.
You haven't ran into Malekith yet. You haven't been to Fair Missoula.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's at the end of that shitty dungeon.
It's pretty cool.
It's badly designed.
Alexander, we can't spoil everything about Fair Missoula for Alexander, though.
Well, I didn't describe anything else about it besides the fact that I think it sucks.
I'm just specifically Alexander has a moment there.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So you'll see a divine tower there by the merchant shack, and there's no front door that you can get to. You can go to the underneath this little area and find somber smithing stones 8 and 9, which that's pretty cool. But to get to the divine tower, you must go up the outside to go down the inside.
I still haven't figured it out.
Well, you got to jump onto a weird route and jump up onto the side and climb up the outside.
But I feel like I'm not doing it right every single time. I'm like, can I make this? Can I not?
My first time going up the outside, it took me like an hour because I didn't know what I was doing and I wasn't sure what jumps I could make. Now I could, my last time going up, it took me a couple minutes because I just went for it.
I lost a lot of runes on that platforming part.
They're just runes all over the ground.
Yeah. I got a little, like once you start to get better at the game and you start like, you don't die as often, you get a little too confident. You're like, I'm just going to fucking kill this boss real quick. Or I'm going to carry around 40,000 runes because fuck it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I learned the lesson the hard way there.
Well, getting into the Divine Tower after you finally get up the outside isn't a reward either. It's an incredibly difficult area again. This whole Dragonbarrow area of Caelid is here to punish you. So you get up to the top, and there's a door to the right, which is your standard go activate the Great Rune when you got it. But if you go to the left, it's just like jumping puzzles and sketchy dudes. There are two Knights of Radahn in there, which are difficult, but coming back later, I'm like, these guys aren't so bad. You have to do a lot of sketchy jumps. So when you go up a Divine Tower, you take that elevator all the way up. This one, you have to do jumping all the way down.
And it's weird. Like, you're looking down at, like, little skinny paths. Like, does it want me to jump there? Do it.
Yeah.
Can I even make that jump? And then that's where the color stones come in.
And then there's like, ooh, this looks like a foot wide little platform. They couldn't mean for me to jump on that.
No, they do.
They do.
And the knights in there, I think they weren't too difficult, but what makes them really difficult is how claustrophobic the areas you encounter them are. Like when you get off on the side in the little hallways, like you don't have much room to dodge or evade. So it's basically like, for me, like range was my friend. And here it's like, fuck your range.
Yeah. Good
Let's
luck.
hug.
Well, the knights are bad enough, but eventually you run into a black flame monk. They only spawn here in the Volcano Manor. These are a rare enemy type. They are enthralled by the god-slaying flame. They became traitors. Now they worship destined death. Very, very cool, very cool. But these guys will fuck you up too, especially in tight quarters like this.
Well, especially when their torsos can just bend like that.
I like it.
They do a lot of yoga.
Yeah, do a lot of yoga. But if you finally get all the way to the bottom, you're rewarded with a sight of grace before fighting another, like, insanely difficult boss. You run into a godskin apostle down there.
Oh. The godskins aren't that hard.
If you are where
Low
you...
enough level, yeah.
Yes. If you were in your first 10 hours of the game, this guy will fuck you up.
Yeah.
I hate them.
That rolling maneuver they do is pretty wild.
That is the most bullshit attack in the game.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Do you have a lot of space to hide behind stuff?
Not for this boss battle.
No, not down
It's
there.
just a big open room.
I never beat that guy. I've noped out of there.
Okay.
I came back after probably 50 hours my first playthrough to come fight this dude.
I've beaten a couple godskins at this point, so I could probably go back and beat him, but I'm up in the mountaintops.
Yes. So the Godskin Apostles are a group that hunts and kills all gods and demigods.
Shit.
They wear skin, the skin of men. They say Godskin Apostles, but I don't believe that they're all wearing godskin.
You know how expensive godskin is?
It's very expensive
Yeah,
and
they're-
hard to come by.
They're wearing like the knockoff godskin, like
Imitation godskin.
Yeah, like the Louis Vuitton that you get like from China or whatever.
It's not real crab.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. And the apostles served under the Dusk-Eyed Queen, also known as the Gloam-Eyed Queen.
Do you eventually fight that too?
There are speculations on who the Dusk-Eyed Queen is. Some say Rani, some say Marika. But they are involved with Malekith when he had the Rune of Destined Death stolen from him for the Night of the Black Knives. And the Rune of Destined Death was taken away by... once the Rune of Destined Death was taken away by Queen Marika... I'm getting the names confused again. There's so many of them.
Yeah,
but
it's annoying.
Once death was taken away, the power of the apostles was kind of removed as well. Queen Marika gave the Rune of Destined Death to Malekith to watch over and protect, ensuring no one steals it. So the godskin...
He's doing a very good job.
He's a good boy. He's trying.
He's a good boy.
But the godskin apostles, their queen is no longer around to lead them. But you'll fight this Godskin Apostle, and after you defeat it, there's a chest that has the Godslayer's greatsword. This was the sword of the Gloam-Eyed Queen, who controlled the Apostles before her defeat at the hands of Malekith. The unique skill for this greatsword is the Queen's Black Flame. You set the blade ablaze with the Black Flame and deliver a sweeping slash.
What's it scaling for?
Dexterity and faith, and that unique skill is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you also get the Godskin Apostle set if you want to wear imitation Godskin. Call an order now.
You can get it elsewhere too. I got it from somewhere else.
Yes, there are different versions. You can be the saggy, big, fat Godskin, or you can be the svelte. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I got the fat guy one.
Yeah, that one's sexier.
It's funnier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's more to love with it.
Looks great. I love it.
Cushion for pushing.
But yes, hopefully you just didn't have to deal with that Godskin Apostle too much. Maybe you noped out of there. But that's the Divine Tower, a mean, cursed place. Don't go there. Like everywhere.
I guess that's where I'm going tonight. I don't know. I'm in the last 20% of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. I don't ever play.
I might be distracted. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so if you'll head east of there, you will find the minor Erd tree. The Erdtree avatar there. It's a putrid avatar. This is the most difficult Erdtree avatar in the entire game. It drops 91,000 runes, which is...
Holy buckets.
Yeah.
Just buckets and buckets of runes.
There's a whole bunch of runes there. Most in the game for an avatar. It will drop an Opaline hard tier. This boosts all forms of damage negation by 15%, except for physical damage. And Stone Barb crack tier. Stance damage plus 30%. Stamina damage to blocking enemies plus 30%. Pretty good stuff. Left of the bridge, you can find a Teardrop Scarab, which has a bestial constitution, which stops buildup for frost and blood loss. Pretty good, if certain areas anyways. Below there, if you stay down below the bridge, though, you'll find the Dragonbarrow cave, which is something I missed on my first playthrough.
Definitely missed that.
There's an extremely mean bear right at the entrance.
Oh,
Is
God.
one of those giant rune bears.
Yeah. And it says, like, lesser rune bear. It's like, fuck you. You know, like, that's the mean one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I clocked in like a little over 100 hours with my main character, and I still, to this day, do not know a good way to defeat that fucking bear. Any of them.
Well, the way they charge is just irresponsible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheese them, stay away from them, go to where they can't get you, and shoot them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't want to go bear hunting with a sword. You want to use a rifle from very far away. Mm-hmm. At least that's what I would do.
Hey, that's what I learned in Red Dead, yeah.
Yeah. If in the cave, though, you can find the Bullgoat's Talisman, which will raise poise 30%, and you can fight a couple of beastmen of Fair Missoula down there, but...
Raising your poise is a pretty decent idea.
It's not bad.
No.
Yep. Staying on your feet's a good thing. Mm-hmm. To the east of there is Lena's Rise. This is another magic tower, cut and paste. The door is locked, so you have to just jump up on your horse. There's a little jumping spot, and you go on top, and you can use the side door.
I do not need more spell slots, and I could give a fuck.
Yeah. Nothing.
At a certain point, you're just cycling through these things, and it's just like, even with shortcuts, you're like, whatever.
Yeah, and when you find just another tower, like another magician's tower, which it's the exact same layout, eventually it's like, is it going to be worth it? Is there going to be lore in here? Is there going to be anything cool?
Well, you kind of know what's going to be in there.
Yeah.
She's still got to go. I still got to go check it out.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
You're like, I was right. It sucked. Yeah. So there's two bridges to get across over towards the Bestial Sanctum. You can take the big Great Bridge, or there's a little side bridge by Lena's Rise. The side bridge, if you're going at night, you will find a Knight's Cavalry. This one isn't a pushover as well. I want to say it was like 80,000, 70,000 runes, something like that.
Jesus Christ.
We'll give you the Bloodhound Step, which makes you invisible. And
is that where you get that?
Yep, faster and farther quick step.
I want that so bad.
Yeah.
I want that real bad.
Bosses where you can effectively use Torrent, I have more fun cheesing anyways.
Yeah.
Yep. You hit them once and you just go a football field away.
And like the Black Riders or whatever they are, is that the
Knights
cavalry?
The
Cavalry.
Nazgul.
Where
The Nazgul, yeah.
if you maintain a nice circle, they will just mirror you 180 degrees and then randomly attack and miss. They'll whiff it because you're out of range, but they're just kind of following you in this circle, and then you can just charge in and get one hit and then bounce out again.
Yep.
It is, I know what you mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's okay. It's an easier way to fight them anyways.
All legitimate tactics, though.
But if you would prefer to take the Great Bridge, the bigger one, you'll find Flying Dragon Grail. And this one is like another, I want to say like 70,000 runes or something like that.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, not a pushover by any means.
No.
Yeah, but I wrote down, seems almost like endgame level enemies around this area compared to a lot of Caelid.
That's smart, though. It encourages more exploration. And it, like any good video game, it's just like, if you're too low level, come back later. It's just something to be memorized, and, it's good game design.
I kind of viewed Caelid as like in some video games where you get out of bounds of the map in an open world, and it's just that invisible wall. It's essentially the same concept where you keep traveling further and further. The enemies get hard enough to where it's like, no, then they bounce you back. It's that invisible wall again, like come back later sort of thing.
I'd love to be in the room where they designed just how that works for this game, because that had to have taken like spreadsheets.
Yeah. Caelid just got a real interesting design to it because it is telegraphed to be extremely difficult, but they give you multiple ways in. Mm-hmm. You can get to the Bestial Sanctum. D sends you there.
Yeah,
and you get a straight up back door. Like you can skip fighting all of these bosses and just go right up and say hi to Gronk that way too. I think they want you to meet him earlier to get your Death Root quest started.
Mm-hmm. They do. And greatest place to farm early game.
Yeah, I remember reading that, and the militiamen, I struggled when I was low level with them, but you said you had it figured out.
Oh, man. I would have it down, so I would charge up lightning attacks and just keep whipping them. I would gain at least 20 levels within the span of 2 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the better spots to level up, people say. In front of the Bestial Sanctum, though, you will find the Black Blade Kindred.
Still can't beat it.
That is a big old mean gargoyle. Not a friendly guy, but I was able to aggro it and stay inside the doors of the sanctum.
Really?
And I'd run in there and like hit him once and then run away. And cheesed him a little bit, but we'll take it. You get 2 weapons for beating it: the Gargoyle's Black Halberd and the Gargoyle's Black Blade. These deal holy damage, scale with faith, strength, and dexterity. Not bad weapons, but inside the Bestial Sanctum, you'll find Gronk, which is not a player for the Buccaneers.
Could you imagine if it was just Gronk in there and he's just spiking a football?
He's just like eating roots.
Yeah, guys, sports, yeah.
Have you seen Tom Brady?
Well, yeah, he let Tom Brady down, and he is punishing himself. Gronk is Malekith. And Malekith is to Queen Marika what Blythe is to Ronnie. Kind of like part brother, part pet, like the wolf that is sent there to guard and protect. Yes, so Malekith was guarding the Rune of Death before it was stolen from him. And since then, he has kind of changed his name. He's so embarrassed. He just moved to the country, got a little sanctum. He just kind of stays there and feels sad all day. And
But he's hungry.
He's so hungry.
He's got to eat.
Well, and the part of the Rune of Death is returned to him, and you can actually see it on its hand. That's what you get it in Firm Missoula's when you go to find him. But,
oh shit! Right. Okay. But I haven't beaten him yet.
And how it works with this and Malekith, like these 2 characters being the same, it is one of those like weird mysteries where they can be 2 places at once a little bit. But you bring him your Death Root, he'll give you some cool items, and including a lot of things, but a lot of bestial incantations and things that'll buff your beast incantations. You can get a Great Hammer and a Beast Claw, and if you do all of them, you'll get the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. He disappears after you bring all 9 to him, and he says, Marika, is this what it is to sin? Will things never be the same again? And he's a sad boy. If you go there... If you go there at night, you can see him pulling an Ed Gein and just howling at the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Outside, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. He won't respond. He must have been really drunk and just went out there and just started howling.
Because he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a wolf. Yeah.
He's a man wolf.
He's a part wolf, yeah. He is a lot like Blade.
Yeah, and he just feels bad. Mm-hmm. But I showed you guys the other day... I showed some of you anyways, that you can jump down the back area.
Yeah, you showed me.
Yep.
Yeah. Which that's one of those things that makes me angry. That they can have something still hidden
sinister.
In there. It looks like you shouldn't be able to.
No.
And it's not easy to get down there. But behind and below the sanctum, because fuck you, you can find the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman, which will reduce physical damage by 10%, and the weapon, the Shinkadea.
How is it? I don't know.
Cinqueda.
That's a song by ABBA.
Yes, it's an ABBA reference. It looks like one of the 4 members. This is a George R. R. Martin thing. Big fan of ABBA.
Oh, sure, yeah. Just like the Fantastic Four.
Dancing Queen. Cersei was inspired by her, if you've watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I saw season 8.
And depending on when you're listening to this, the day of recording is the day House of the Dragon comes out.
I am so pumped.
I've
Pumped?
Yeah,
It's a good story. I've read the prequel novella.
Right.
It's really good story. But there's a lot of goodwill that has been lost by HBO.
And without delving into it too much, HBO knows they screwed the pooch real bad. I doubt they let it happen again. That's where my head's at. So that's why my expectations are tempered but high.
Imagine bombing a season so hard you lost a Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Congrats to Dave and Dan.
Well, I'm more confused about the Rings of Power than anything.
I'm very curious and terrified of that as well.
When does that come out? Like next month?
Next
right?
month, yeah. Sometime in September, yeah.
But yes, that covers all of Caelid other than the final area. Mm-hmm. So we're going to head all the way southeast again and get to what is called the Impassable Great Bridge. We're going to pass that motherfucker.
It's really not that hard to pass.
What it is there's a giant bridge leading to Redmane Castle, but on one end of the bridge is this major battle happening with all of the Redmane soldiers and a bunch of the big puppers and maybe a crow or two. This is a good spot. If you need some cheap runes just to get enough to level up and you don't want to be risky,
just wander around. Just
stand there. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to attack them. Just let them all kill each other and the runes just come to you. It's really nice.
Yeah, you showed me that right after I bought the game.
Yeah.
So I definitely exploited that just as soon as I went home that day.
Yeah. Just find a good spot. You can just go make a pizza or something and come back. And hey, it's not a ton of runes, but it's some. And it's enough at a low level. So Redmane Castle is odd. Depending on when you come here, it's either fully populated and angry, or the doors are open and they're like, no, nothing's attacking you. Just come in.
That's how it happened this time.
My first time,
I went through the entire castle the first time.
I'm pretty sure my first time it was already festival season.
Really?
Yeah, but
you just progressed that far into the story. What's the lockout for that?
Well, before the festival. Oh, so it starts off before the festival. How to activate it? Any Altus Plateau site of grace, except for the Volcano Manor, because you can get yoinked in there a little earlier.
Right.
But any Altus Plateau site of grace, informing Blythe about Radahn in the Sheaf River. I'll learn how to pronounce that before the next episode. Siofra. I think it's one of those weird Gaelic pronunciations, but. This requires Ronnie's questline, or you can talk to Iji about Jaren. Because if you get all the way up there before the festival starts, Jaren's like, how'd you get up here, man? This is a pretty secured place. You shouldn't have been able to get here, but you mentioned Iji's like, oh, go tell that guy he smells bad. Tell him I sent you. Tell him Jaren sent you.
Is that the guy that you encounter on the mountaintop that's not him anymore?
No, you're thinking of Jura.
Okay, yeah.
My knowledge is dumb. So if you take the Impassable Great Bridge, if you don't want to just transport your way in there, the transporters, a lot of them won't be open anyways if the festival's not going on.
Right.
There will be trebuchets. Do your zigzags like Rick and Stark didn't learn how. Just move the left a little bit. And then,
well, it's kind of weird because sometimes they'll still hit you.
Yeah, they have a bigger, a kind of a splash area.
It does kind of bring it down to luck.
That just means you got to zig and zag harder.
Yeah.
Make those zags a little wider, make those zigs a little tighter.
I guess that's why they wanted to call the bridge that, though.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. That tracks.
And the guard's like, he's just still coming. He went to the left and then the right. We didn't plan for this one, guys.
I mean, they're all mindless idiots. They're just like, huh? Yeah. What?
I would how weird would it be if just one time soldiers threw a sword down and ran away? That would make me so happy if, for some reason, the AI just decided to do something weird.
Well, yeah, if, in some games, I hate to bring it. I have to talk to someone about Xenoblade Chronicles. That's not my girlfriend. But
we can discuss that on the Dogcast.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, but I'm on it right now because I put in a full 80 hours over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But after you reach like 5 levels higher than them, they'll just avoid you.
They're like, we don't want no part
Unless
of this
you
shit.
actively attack them, they're not going to touch you, which is actually kind of dope.
Yeah, there's certain games like, to get off topic, in Suikoden, once you're strong enough, you can just let enemies go. Like other times you have to run away and you might not get away. Eventually you're strong enough, like, I spare you. Go with God. Tell them Brad sent you. But there is like a little tower there. On the other side, you can go up, fight the guys if you want. You get an Ash Vor, the Crag Blade, which this buff increases attack power and stance damage by 10% when you use it. So that's a pretty cool
It's
Ash
not bad.
Vor.
Yeah.
And then how it works is you slam your weapon into the ground and rocks get attached to it through like gravity magic. So you just like have a bunch of rocks on your sword, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've
used it. It's fun.
It's not bad. You also get the Arrow Sting Talisman there. This raises attack power of arrows and bolts by 10%. If you're an archer, not a bad thing.
Not bad for helping to kill those hanging down enemies in caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big ones that are far away.
Are you talking about the marionette ones?
All of them. Just anything that's hanging.
Well, anything that's hanging, but the giant ones that look like the nameless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those ones. That's how I would defeat them if I was a strength dex build. It actually got through them pretty quick. A few large ballistas, you're set to go.
If you decide to go up to the front door, a big old troll jumps down and has a little fight with you.
So
regardless that you beat him, the door stays closed. So
You run to the right. Generally, you have to loop around back of the castle, right?
yep, do a Marv from Home Alone. Use the back door. Go to the basement.
Step on a nail.
Step on a nail.
And micro machines.
Such a good movie. And Christmas ornaments.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Do you think Tom has built the house to that yet? Did he?
he did.
Okay.
And he got a custom light up kit for the inside too, which he had to like.
Is he a big fan of that movie?
He's a big fan of Legos, anyways. I mean, I think he's a John Hughes guy.
Okay. Yeah, he seems like a John Hughes guy.
Yeah, or Christopher Columbus, and I'm not talking about the racist.
Everyone in that era was racist.
Yeah. But that's not the Home Alone version. He's a great man. But yes, to the Redmane Castle, you'll actually want to sneak around the back. You'll have to do some jumping with your torrent, but then you can get into Redmane Castle. Mm-hmm. Now,
There's a real gauntlet that first chunk. To find that site of grace is actually like if you're there at the level you should be. Usually they space these things pretty well, as I've found.
yeah.
But that first one to get to, I remember being very difficult.
It's weird.
It's long. By that point, you've used all your mana, everything.
And I mean, the sites of grace in Redmane Castle, there's not one like out front.
No.
And the closest one is on the other end of the Great Bridge, I believe.
Yeah.
So you have to
Right
just
next to the
either get
tower.
in all the way to where you're going, which is essentially right before a little boss area.
Yep.
And no, it's not easy. But yeah, it was weird. My first playthrough, the festival was activated. So I got there, I was like coming in screaming like barbarian roar and like
Everybody's like, chill.
doors unlocked.
Yeah, dude.
In fact, like they actively
Wanna
say,
hit?
like,
Like, calm down. Dave Matthews is going on in like
Dave Matthews
it's like
on-
20 minutes, man.
in fact, they actively shunt you into the festival area. Like you don't even get to explore until the battle with Radahn is over. Again.
Doors are locked.
Doors are locked everywhere.
Everyone's going to see Dave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And everyone's like, how many times do you see him? Like, only 10.
I'm only there for the black violinist, whatever his name is.
Boyd Tinsley. Boyd Tinsley is not in the band anymore.
Oh no! Did
Yeah.
he do something bad?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yep. He was mentoring magicians, and they would wake up with him grabbing their butts and jerking off.
Wow.
Boyd Tinsley went weird.
Mentoring magicians?
No, mentoring musicians.
You said magicians.
Okay, well, I also prefer to think of it like that, maybe.
I thought you were fucking with me. I was like, there's no way he does magic on the side.
And I'm like, really? Like sleight of hand? What are we talking about?
all
Like,
the members
you
of
can look
Da-
that up online. You don't need him to teach you.
Of all the members of Dave Matthews Band that you could find out were a magician, it would be the violin player.
He's just like, check it out. Look at that.
Dave is a magician because he made my heart reappear.
Boyd Tinsley, he goes shopping for leather suits. He goes shopping for leather suits, and he's like, this is perfect. Can you cut the sleeves off, though? I want the rest of it, but just take the sleeves off.
I got to use that line again.
Dave's on in 20 minutes, guys.
Just calm down.
Whoa, a lot of anger you're bringing into the festival.
Bring a lot of negativity in here right
Dave, I
now.
got to tell you saved my life.
Dude, here, have a glow stick. So, honestly, though, Redmane Castle I found to be pretty underwhelming. Even like when it's fully populated,
It's pretty straightforward.
there's nothing too exciting. There's two giant like lions with the blades attached to the legs that are kind of guarding the front area.
Those suck. Those manticores or whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
I call them manticores. I know they're not, but they look kind of like it.
That
Yeah.
same thing that you find in the Capitol, that thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
Because I think Godric's like, he's got a lion. I want a lion.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Godric always has to have all the toys everyone else has. But as far as what you can get in there, you can get an armorer's cookbook, the west of the main gate, that'll teach you the Redmane fire pot. Like, that's cool.
Ooh, I'm a big pothead too. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah.
Like, you have so much pots on
Oh, I
you.
know, baby.
Oh, dude, I got so many cracked pots. You got no idea.
No idea.
I use rope pots, fire pots, poison pots, holy pots,
Weed pots.
weed pots,
I mostly do poison pots,
poison pots, and I used fire pots a lot until I respec'd and went faith because then
Then
I
you
had
don't need
the
'em.
fire sling. So then
We
Yep.
used to use a volcano. And
Oh, I use the
we had a
volcano.
custom bag that was like 5 feet
Oh.
big, so we just fill it up and just pass the bag around.
Nice.
I had a vape that we ran through a pineapple once. We called it Sponge Bong SquarePants.
Whoa,
was
dude.
great.
Midwest white boys smoking.
Hell
You
yeah.
salty sailor, you.
My buddy had a foilie he would reuse in his car. He would reuse it.
All it takes for me to get high is a one hitter, so.
And then also, if you, on the roofs, like this, the only thing that's really like interesting up on the roof, you have to fight through a series of people, of bad guys. But you can find the Flamberge, which is a sword. The description says Scarlet Rot is kept at bay with flame at Redmane Castle, and as such, this beloved sword of Jaren's eventually became the symbol of the castle itself. Something that we talked about last episode about Caelid. They use fire to control it.
But a flamberge is just a style of sword. It's literally just, it's where it zigs in the middle, so it locks in other larger blades as well.
Yeah.
It's really all it is.
Yeah, that's a unique item that you get there. Otherwise, Redmane Castle is like when I compare it to Stormvale, nothing.
It's set dressing.
Even when I compare it to Castle Morn, like Castle Morn has so much more interesting things happening than Redmane.
Castle Morn is a little boring.
I think it's
The courtyard is pretty interesting.
yeah, and then jumping down the back, what I found pretty exciting as well.
That part is actually really the most
To
intriguing
get
part
to
about it.
that Farah Missoula boss you're talking about?
No. This is Castle Morn. This is the
Weeping
one in the
Peninsula.
southern.
Yeah, that's what I'm
southern
talking about. You jump
Oh,
down.
the Beastmen of Farah
Beastmen
Missoula.
of Farah Missoula, the one you get a trophy for.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about jumping down the back way there?
That's not a Beastman you
Misbegotten.
fight back though. That is Leonine the Misbegotten.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
There is a Beastman
It's
of
hard
Fair
to keep all
Missoula on the main area of
It's so hard to keep it straight. I don't blame you.
yeah.
The names, they have too many letters, and there's too many of them.
When you're focused on killing,
Yeah.
like
Who's
Tyler,
got time to
when
read?
you've got
Yeah.
Bloodlust,
Yeah.
Godwin, Godric, Godfrey, Godfroy,
Millennium,
The one
Malekith.
the one that I never forget is just America.
Melina, Millennia. Very different.
hate that.
Very different.
I hate that. Why would you ever?
And
like
she
this?
identifies herself as Blade of Mikola primarily. I'm like, use your first name first. It's like
I don't know.
I say my name is Brad. You say my name is Blade of Mikola. It's like I'm confused. But so then, speaking of confusion, if the festival is not started yet, there will be a boss in like the main. It's like before you get to the festival, there just be two bosses hanging out there where the festival will happen later on.
Really?
Before Jaren's big area, there's bosses there.
I've never fought him.
You fight for some fucking reason the Misbegotten Warrior and a Crucible Knight.
Yeah, I saw you do that fight.
And it's just a mean fight. The trick is kill the Misbegotten Warrior as fast as you can because the Crucible Knight will spawn in. You don't want to fight them both at the same time.
Well, and then if you get halfway through the Crucible Knight, he does that wing attack.
He starts flying around.
I mean, I don't want to fight a Crucible Knight anyway.
No.
Let alone with another boss.
When they start showing up as common enemies, I was just like, why?
There's also a boss section where you have to fight 2 of them at once.
Yeah.
Yep,
I've done it.
That one was run away and do what you can.
Yep. Scarlet Rot.
Yeah.
To everything.
If you defeat both of these bosses, though, you get the Ruins Greatsword. This is one of the legendary armaments. There's not a ton of those. Originally rubble, which fell from a ruin in the sky.
I have done this fight then, because I have that sword.
It might not have been memorable because it's just 2 bosses you've fought elsewhere before many times.
Right. Okay.
But
that one's actually cool looking. That one looks pretty dope.
And it's got a unique skill, the Wave of Destruction, which is essentially a big blade beam, just like shoots a beam like a projectile at people. But if the festival has started, if it is time, you see Dave's coming, Keller Williams is going to play, Willie's going to be there, Snoop Dogg's there for some reason.
Well, Snoop Dogg's just always a good time.
Always a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not... Honestly, this is a little more like Woodstock 99, though, this festival.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit is going to close the show and just tear it.
You can summon in Limp Bizkit, the guy from Korn, and for some reason, Jules there.
Sheryl Crow was going to show up, and then she got a whiff of the crowd and was like, I'm out.
Yeah, this looks bad. But
is that documentary any good?
Oh, it is fantastic.
Really? I got to watch that.
I've seen documentaries before, and this one is definitely worth watching.
Okay, I'll watch it.
I only meant to watch the first episode. I watched all 3 in one go.
It was a good hangover day.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
I was hungover the next day, so it was a good drunk night for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, you got real lonely, huh?
No, I was out with some friends. I got home. I was like, I should go to bed. What's this? And I put it on, and before you know it, it's 3 a.m.
Well,
Shit.
it starts off interesting enough. They're like, we weren't even going to pay this guy. Like, pay James Brown. And then eventually it's just Limp Bizkit commanding an army of angry white kids to destroy shit.
Screaming.
And they're like, don't do it. And he's like, oh, wah. He went out there and just like told them all to break shit.
Something to break. Yeah.
It's like, are you mad about your parents and your jobs?
Yeah. Then the Red Hot Chili Peppers like, hey, can you calm down the crowd? There's nothing we could say that would calm them down. They went out for their encore and played Fire by Jimi Hendrix.
Well, they were told to calm them down because everything's on fire.
Yeah.
And they come out and play Fire. Well, and I don't... Okay, that's another topic.
It's the zeitgeist. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that was the most power Fred Durst ever wielded that day.
Maybe even Anthony Kiedis.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially,
I mean,
yeah.
that's 250,000 people. Like, that's an insane concert to play.
It's 250,000 people.
Even
Breaking
Radahn
shit.
doesn't get those numbers.
Nope.
No.
No, but some of the people attending this festival, you'll find your good boy Blythe. He doesn't have much to say other than he's there because it's actually pronounced Blythe.
Oh, God.
Like with a
that sucks.
TH?
Yeah.
Like Blythe.
I hate
Yeah.
this Irish Celt crap.
Well,
Who put two?
they still have Wesley Snipes voicing him, so that's good.
Unless it's Aaron, why would you put 2 A's together?
I don't know.
It's language is fluid, I guess. That's the best way to describe all this.
He is there, though, because Ronnie needs Radahn to stop. We'll talk about that in a second. Blythe is there. Iron Fist Alexander.
Yep. I was there.
We're going to put in his audio, what he says to you for some of this anyways, but he's there. He's excited. He's fucking pumped, ready to fight a champion.
Well, that's because after it's Golden Corral for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, ooh, yeah, I'm hungry.
Yummy.
Yeah.
There's a finger maiden named Thoralina there. She'll teach you the polite bow gesture. She won't talk to you. She is one of Celivis's puppets, so she's actually been made into a puppet up by the Carian Manor. And she is the spirit of a finger maiden who never met the tarnished she was meant to guide. She uses healing incantations and holy water pots, not a fighter by nature, but she is there for the fight as well.
Fellow pothead.
Yeah. She would never misses a show. Like,
No.
she's seen Dave every time that he was in America. Like, a lot. Other people that aren't in the immediate area, but they can be summoned into the battle. Patches, who pieces out very quick. He doesn't want any new Dave. As soon as they started playing, enough with the Dave stuff maybe, but he didn't like Big Whiskey, so as soon as they opened with that, he just left. Great Horned Tregoth, who is the bull goat. Good dude, good homie. Bloody Finger Okina, the legendary warrior from the land of the Reeds. Lionel the Lionhearted, he is the big boy, the armor, like the big armor that you've seen before.
Don't you get his armor?
You can.
I think I've gotten it recently.
Can't you summon in the potbelly guy too?
Oh, that's Lionel the Lionhearted.
Okay, yeah, the guy, yeah.
And Castell.
I've got him. Yeah.
Castell and Jaren will come in as well, but let's talk a little bit about Radahn and what's going on with Radahn. He's kind of gone Scarlet Rock crazy. He's at Caelid 19 for a long time.
Yeah, I've been comparing with people, and I'm like, Scarlet Rot is like syphilis. I'm like,
continue.
Well, it's like it is horrible, and it's like it does so many awful things to your body. Like literally, like can take away your nose, but it also affects your brain, and eventually it makes you go so crazy that you just fucking fall over dead one day.
That's why after sex, I put myself on fire to cleanse me. I use Flame Cleanse Me.
I will.
Yeah, it's a good move.
See, whenever I have sex, I just pull out my Uno reverse card. So then if I do end up with something, I just reverse it back, and then I'm good.
Actually, you got it.
Yeah. Haha.
Well, jokes on you, I have syphilis.
So Radahn.
And I can spit on you, and you can get it.
Reverse card.
Radahn, as we know, is the son of Radagon and Queen Renala, brother to Rani and Praetor Rykard. We know all about his mom, Renala. Sad woman. She was in love. She went crazy and just started making a lot of demented reborn babies a million times that have become crawling monsters. He inherited his father's flaming red hair from Radagon. And he was fond that it made him look like his dad. He looked up to his dad a lot. But also, huge fanboy for the Elden Lord Godfrey, Marika's first husband. Because Godfrey was just a badass warrior from from another land, and he was a big fan of him. So that's why Radahn puts lions all over his stuff, likening it.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Likening it to Godfrey. He even named his beloved steed Leonard, which means lion. So that Lenny. So that's good. Sadly, though, his horse did not grow as fast as Radahn, so I put down Radahn got Chris Hemsworth big.
The horses are so emaciated in this game. I was talking about it before when we watched the cutscene just to kind of get ready for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like all the horses are so emaciated except for Torrent. Every other horse looks exactly like that horse. And I'm wondering, did they hire whatever?
Where's the horse food?
But like even the merchants, they all have horses, and they
just
all
the
look like
saddest horses.
emaciated donkeys.
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say that wasn't a horse, that's a donkey. The merchants have donkeys.
I think so. Well, no, that is the same model that Radahn is riding.
Well, Torrent technically a horse? It has horns. Maybe Torrent's some other creature.
He's got two horns, right?
I mean, it's a pachyderm of some sort, right?
I've never looked under the hood. He might have another horn down there too.
He's also like spirit something, but he definitely resembles horse more than anything. Not like gazelle or anything like that.
But Radahn, being Renala's kid as well, very gifted at magic. He went to Celia and studied under an Alabaster Lord. The Alabaster Lords, of course, were born from a meteorite that crashed, so they're kind of like outer space things.
Well, that attack makes sense now.
Well, and Radahn mastered gravity magic so much that he could challenge the very stars themselves. The stars are held in place because of Radahn. And this has been going on for a while.
Well, what's really cool about this world, too, is they kind of go back in what we consider like proper myth, and then they take science away from it. So the stars in the sky, you're imagining this taking place on a planet. It probably doesn't take place on a planet. That's like my read about it.
Okay.
It's literally the stars are just different things. They're not different like stars. They're just objects in the sky.
They're gods. They're
There's
unfathomable.
something else. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing. I'm going to be a flat earther about Elden Ring from this point on. I actually think that this takes place in a world where, you know how way back when that they, in like even like the Bible, they used to describe everything as like a dome with like little holes poked in it that the light of God shone through.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah. There are at least meteors that crash down. So there is chunks of things floating around out there. The other gods are out there. Astel the Natural Born. There's. It's just we don't know. And I will not say I am a flat earther, but I am not a round earther either. I'm agnostic towards the stars at this point.
That's a good stance.
In Elden Ring?
In Elden Ring.
I'm a flat earther for this.
In the real world, I'm a flat earther, dude.
Yeah, I knew that about you.
Clearly, we're
It's
on
been a real drag on our relationship.
If I run, why do I just like not fall off, you know?
There's a big ice wall.
I don't get it.
There's an ice wall that keeps the water from falling off.
I think you guys should listen to more ICP. You'll learn a lot.
I've listened to enough Kyrie Irving. I don't think I'm with the flat Earth.
But Radahn held the stars in place, and we speculated a little bit on the last episode.
But what does he mean specific stars? Because not all the stars fall.
Well, it's not like making the stars fall. I think it's just keeping the stars in stasis, or maybe keeping the Elden planet, whatever we call it, from being a part of the rotation. It's kind of in its own maybe like bubble outside of that. So it's like frozen in time, perhaps.
Right.
Regardless, the stars don't move anymore because of Radahn. And I think it's partially because he wanted to prevent the falling star beasts and the natural born from coming down.
Sure.
I think maybe the Alabaster Lords who was teaching him is like, yeah, there's some bad shit. And after one falling star beast landed, and I watched a really good video speculating that originally another, like Astel the Natural Born, was supposed to join in the battle with Radahn. After you defeated Radahn, the stars could move again, and there's like enough reason to think that another boss would drop in as soon as Radahn was defeated, like to signal, all right, we're back, the stars can move, and we can do what we've been waiting to do.
Yeah, but after a battle like that, you don't have the... Yeah.
That's why they're kind of like, we don't want that. That would undercut, like, you don't have Dave Matthews play and then you have Fish play afterwards. It would just confuse people.
It's not going to work.
No, you can. I've already watched Dave. He did a 20-minute two-step with Bella Fleck. Like, I can't watch another band.
Yeah, it's time to go home.
Yeah.
I did not expect us to talk about Dave Matthews too much in this
Or
episode.
take another dab.
Yeah, take another dab.
Radahn was holding the stars in place, though, and things weren't moving. At some point, Millennia came down, Blade of Mikola, as she's told me 1,000 times. But she came down there and had a fight with him, and we're done. We're not sure why they fought. She might have been preemptively trying to stop her biggest threat, because even though they're at the opposite ends of the map, Radahn is the strongest like next to Millennia. We don't...
Well, you need multiple people to defeat him.
You should.
If you've soloed Radahn, congratulations, because I don't see how that's possible. The way he skates around on his fucking horse.
My first time, I didn't know you could summon people. I did it without summons my first time.
I was like, what the fuck is this, and how am I ever going to beat this?
Yeah, so we don't know why Millennia is there. Millennia might have came down to Caelid to find something with the Rune of Destined Death and the Bestial Sanctum. She might have needed the stars to move to try and advance Mikola's aging or whatever she's working on with him and that egg. But she came and fought Radahn.
I love the egg. It's so fun.
Radahn was winning, and it came to a standstill, and she scarlet bloomed everywhere, causing everything to happen. But Radahn has got syphilis. He has stage 10 syphilis. He's to the point where he is just out in the field running around eating everything he can. He's no longer himself.
I love it.
But Jaren actually knew Radahn back in the Carian Manor when Radahn would be up there. They've known each other a long time. Jaren was one of the closest generals for Radahn.
Sure.
And they made an oath to each other that we would guarantee each other a noble death, a true death. That's why Radahn doesn't get shot at with arrows. They're like, no, we're having a festival, and we're going out there, and we're gonna fight him, and it's gonna be honorable, and it's gonna be legendary.
Yeah.
And everyone's just got so much like bloodlust going on. It's really exciting.
Well, that's a great thing too. I like that it's framed as a festival because a festival is always a celebration, and I like that everyone travels far and wide to kind of compete in this like monster truck show that is just like
Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. That is just defeating this one dude, and everyone's like, he wasn't a bad guy, but I'll tell you what, he's kind of he's still being a nasty fuck out there, so let's get rid of him. It's like if all the monster trucks went up against Truckzilla all at once.
If I'm ever out there on stage 10 syphilis and I've lost my mind, please, like,
we'll throw a festival.
But don't just shoot me with a gun. I want you to bring 10 guys and have a sword fight with me.
I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult at that point. I don't think you're going to use your gravity magic.
Brad's eating a squirrel. How did he get it?
He's fast.
He's so fast.
People are screaming from the side, when will this end? We're doing him an honor.
So we are having
we're all drunk.
We are having a festival. And Jaren gives a rousing speech, and it's like, well, it's time. You take the elevator down, and I was unaware that those were summoning signs, and I fought him by myself before they nerfed him.
Yep.
And then in another patch, they have unnerfed him.
They have unnerfed him to the level. The first time I faced him, I actually was able to solo him.
Yeah,
because I got the right patch in.
I had to do it before they nerfed him, and I'm like, all right, he's so far away. I'm going to take my horse and go full speed at him. And you're not.
Wall of arrows.
You're supposed to zigzag hard.
Yeah. Well, I found it much easier to get off the horse and run. I could dodge.
Oh, the dodging never worked well for me. With Torrent, if you give him a little bit of a giddy up right as it's coming near you, you clear it almost instantly.
Yeah, you have to get around a few arrows, but essentially that's the first thing is getting close enough to him.
Yeah.
Another reason to do it off the horse is so you can just summon everyone on the way up. You'll very quickly get if you 6 or 7 people.
You keep clicking that Y button, baby.
Can you summon things from the horse?
Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess I didn't ever do that.
I was constantly summoning and resummoning.
Yeah, because even after people are away, resummon them in. But you summon all of the people and they help you do this fight. And they're going to keep his aggro. I honestly don't think Radahn is as tough as people.
His aggro's... He will aggro to you much quicker than the other characters. And also, they've reduced spell range quite a bit in these patches, from what I've understood.
Yeah. Hitboxes have changed.
Hitting him with lightning is almost impossible, which was my main go-to by this point in the game. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Then I got Scarlet Rotten. It was the easiest fight I've ever done in my entire life.
I didn't have a problem with him. I fought him during the nerf, like while he was nerfed. And
really? Yeah.
Like my range spells after I summoned everybody in, we just chewed him up. But then I went back,
especially magic is good against him. Pretty good. Yeah.
I went back and faced him after the nerf because our old coworker Justin told me about it.
Okay.
And it did seem like the spells didn't go as far, and that motherfucker is hard.
Yeah. It's that weird slide maneuver he does, like a drift, and then slashes upwards. That's an insta-kill.
He drifts with his horse, Leonard.
I know.
And, it's hard to notice because he's so big, but there is a tiny horse that he's riding around on.
Also, can we just take a second and say that he is holding up the stars, correct?
While also stage 10 syphilis.
Yeah. Who's the real MVP here, though? It's Lenny. Lenny is the tiny little horse that's holding up the man that's holding up the stars.
Well, he's using gravity magic on himself to keep him from crushing his horse.
Touche.
Yeah,
I forgot about that part.
Radahn weighs probably like 20 pounds to Lenny because he's using so much magic to make himself float.
So he's just a good donkey then.
Well, essentially, you should have just retired Leonard and just let him go live a peaceful life and feed him because no one's feeding these fucking horses.
He could fly with his gravity magic at that
level. But then he couldn't do that cool drift thing on Lenny.
But maybe Lenny likes him to ride him. I don't know. But Lenny is there. At some point, they were able to go into the back end of the data. And Leonard originally had his own...
Sorry.
had his own HP. So you potentially could kill Leonard before killing Radahn.
Which would probably knock him off and make him easier to fight.
Or maybe it just sends him into berserk mode.
Him.
Yeah, Lenny doesn't deserve that. He's just
I could
an
be
innocent
stage
bystander,
12 syphilis. And if you killed Martin, I would get angry. Yeah. For sure.
Martin's more likely to kill any one of us first.
But there's something great about this. Like, you have 9-10 people all fighting this one dude running around. I love it too. Patches has been summoned to the field. Immediately, Patches.
That, I'm like, what?
Immediately, Patches left.
Patches does fight.
No, he leaves. He leaves right away. He doesn't fight. He runs away.
I thought he did. I thought he was just the first to get slaughtered.
No. Patches sees what's going on and runs away.
That's very Patches, though.
It's very Patches. I love that.
My favorite thing about the fight is just how grand it feels. It feels like an end game, like final boss battle sort of fight in the middle, closer to the beginning, honestly, of the game. Like it's this epic, like I could hear just like Lord of the Rings score in the background as we're...
The Shire theme.
Not quite, but yeah.
Thinking a little more energy.
A little more energy, yeah.
Okay.
The biggest shame about this is that later bosses in the game kind of feel samey. And this kind of sets up this...
Okay. I don't think Rickard feels samey. Millennia doesn't feel samey.
No, but if we're talking about like gimmicks, if we're talking about how Souls bosses go, there are general like tropes that their attack patterns fall into for the most part, even if it's difficult. Whereas like this is kind of like the setup, the execution... That's not something that they've ever had in any of this. Like even the boss fight with Renala, like it's not that crazy.
Stunning set piece.
It's great, but it's
if
also
I hadn't
like,
fought Rom the Vacuous Spider in the same phase, it might have been more exciting.
Exactly, but at least it's used less. Whereas like a lot of what it comes down to late game is fight person with sword.
I've never had crawling college students like grab my legs before. Like that was unique to Renala.
Well, and like sussing out which one you have to kill and all that stuff. That's legitimately interesting. And then there's a whole second phase where there's summons. I don't know.
Radahn is just a very unique. Like,
it was such a surprise.
It is the biggest battle, like the arena.
Yep.
The size of it is staggering.
It is a third of Caelid.
It is. And fantastic. So he has some moves that he will reuse a lot. A lot of it's pretty straightforward after you get close enough. One of his biggest moves is where he uses his gravity powers to like summon everything in, then he slams the swords and like...
Hate it.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
It's good if you're holding the swords.
His meteor attack is pretty rough.
After phase 1, if you damage him enough, he jumps up so high and disappears. I watched a boundary break and they're like, where'd he go? And they went and found out. They're like, oh, he actually just disappears. But they follow him out, like up out of the map as far away as they can. And then,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But he'll crash back down.
That one is easy to avoid if you have any sense of like impending, like...
The sheer
you're just running around like, where's he gonna land? It's like someone shoots an arrow straight up and you're not sure where it's gonna...
I was summoning somebody who had died when he jumped, so I totally missed it.
Yeah.
And I turn around and he's gone, and I stopped and
he
didn't move, and I'm like, where is... And I'm just spinning in circles like, where the fuck did he go? And then I get Armageddoned.
Yeah.
There was a cheese...
Armageddon.
He lands next to you, and there was originally a cheese where you could get him to land close enough to the water that after the move, he would accidentally fall into the ocean and just die right away.
Oh, that's dope, but yeah.
And it's also like, give him a noble death. After all of this effort to give him a noble death, and you're just like, push him in the...
drown.
You're just like, push the kid in the pool.
He's not a bad guy. You're just supposed to beat up a mentally ill person.
Everybody knows Radahn can't swim, guys. Throw him a floaty.
Gravity doesn't work in water, and we know this. Because of science.
And like you said, he's extremely weak to Scarlet Rot. In phase 2, every 3 minutes after the first meteor crash, he will do another one. He'll keep doing it if you give him time.
Yeah.
But you take him down. You receive Radahn's Great Rune. After you activate it, it will raise maximum HP, FP, and stamina. You'll receive the Remembrance of the Starscourge.
That's actually the one I use the most.
Yeah, same.
It's a good one for sure. The Red Lion General, the Starscourge says, the Red Lion General wielded gravitational powers, which he learned in Celia.
No, I don't use that one. I didn't get through the tower. I've been using...
You're using a similar one.
Yeah.
But you can also, with the Remembrance, get 2 different weapons. You can get the Starscourge Greatsword, and you can immediately dual wield that puppy. So you, just like him, you have 2 of those swords. And you can do the Starcaller Cry, which is where you do the gravity pull them forward.
A lot of people like the Starscourge Greatswords.
And they're cool, too. They look great.
Pretty dope looking, yeah.
And not many swords you can choose to dual wield them and get like 2 swords. And that's one where you just double the swords.
I love dual wielding greatswords and hammers in that game. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You got to time out your combos pretty well, though.
It just looks wicked, though, when someone's carrying around.
Yeah, exactly.
2 monster weapons. You can also get the Lion Greatbow. Scales with strength and dexterity. And the unique skill is Radahn's Rain. That's the attack where it just drops all of the arrows down. And when you use it with Radahn's Spears, that gets a plus 20% physical damage. You can also buy the Radahn Spears at any the round table hold after beating him. The Radahn Spears are arrows, but they're actually fucking spears because they're so big.
Yeah, they're ballista shots, yeah.
And these are, in fact, the many spears with which he was stabbed by the Clean Rot Knights.
Wow.
So he was stabbed like so much, and he just saved the spears and just used them to shoot them at people.
That's badass.
That's heavy metal.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
Dude, that's Fred Durst level, dude.
Dude. Yeah, that makes Fred Durst look like a little bitch.
Do you not like your family sometimes?
Do you not like getting stabbed with spears sometimes?
Break it off! It's like, this was Fred Durst, guys. Yeah, so you can get all that stuff after beating him. When you reload into the area, there are 2 of your homies are still hanging out after the battle. Iron Fist Alexander is at the buffet.
Oh,
Yep.
he is mowing down.
Just going for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you work up an appetite when you have a battle that big. So I don't blame the dude.
Yeah, like, Iron Fist is at the bar, and Radahn just walks in. He's like, ooh, I want to eat that man.
Yeah. Ooh, you look tasty.
And honestly, eating Radahn would be very powerful. Just hopefully syphilis can't be transferred through eating.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it probably could.
Cook it first.
Well, who knows how Alexander's digestive system works? Maybe he has...
He's just a pot. We don't know
Yeah.
what's going on inside, really.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be fine.
You sound very sure of yourself.
I'm not.
Iron Fist does apologize during this. He said, I have it written down. The battle was marvelously fought. You are a true champion. I, on the other hand, am nothing but a crock. 1 hit was all it took to crack me and for my insides to come spilling out, and then he hid like a coward. And I was like, I just watched the battle. You were up there fighting a lot, dude.
He got hit.
He doesn't give himself enough credit.
Yeah. He wanted to be the one to do the final blow. And
Yeah. I mean, but it's hard, though, when you're a pot. You know?
You don't have eyes.
Yeah. And you can crack very easily.
always hungry.
Always hungry.
Yeah.
And, like, let's face it. The first time we met you, you get your ass stuck in the ground. So, like, you really... What was the potential here?
I like it when you run into Alexander and he's like, do you have something slippery you can rub on me? Please. He also says, as luck would have it, there's a veritable mountain of warriors' bodies. If I can just squeeze this bunch down inside me, I'll be a mighty warrior again in no time. And you know, the bodies here are exceedingly fine. Great stuff.
Yep.
One consequence of defeating Radahn is a giant meteor strikes the forest in Limgrave as well.
Opens up the path to Nokron.
The path to one of the forgotten cities. And Blythe, he will say, he's like, it is time. We need to go down there. Ronnie needs us. I will meet you in the forgotten city. We need to finish this up. Very exciting. And then Witch Hunter Jaren, you can talk to him as well. And he says he can get on to some other tasks he's been meaning to take care of for a long time, which we will talk about more in the Cellin episode in 3 years. But you're on this big battlefield, and you think there's got to be something down here. It's a third of Caelid. So my first time doing it, I rode the horse around forever, and I decided there's nothing.
Same.
Yeah, because you like look off into the distance and you're like, that's pretty far. I just assume because there are boss arenas where it gives you a lot of room to roam, but there isn't much to see, especially when you face like the nameless one or the what's its name again?
The formless mother.
Something like that. But I mean, like
Bloodborne.
the ones in the caves where you fight like the ancestral spirits, which is essentially like the same thing over and over again.
Okay, we're talking Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what
Like
you're talking about.
those battle arenas are huge and they don't usually yield all that much.
Right, and Radahn here on the wasteland, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
It does look barren, and you would ride around for a good 5 minutes, and unless you're lucky, you would say that there's nothing there. But there is one location hidden here,
Yeah.
and it is the War Dead Catacombs.
I hate it.
This is a very mean area. This is
A lot of phantoms there too.
just when you thought you were done with Caelid, they pull you in and they punch you in the mouth one more time. Tough as fuck catacombs for legendary warriors. You go there and they're just like 30 ghosts just fighting each other.
Yeah.
And they will stay busy. The ones in the main area won't fight you, but if you want to explore, you'll just start summoning them in and they will all aggro on you.
Yep.
Don't like it. You can get a spell, the Collapsing Stars, Spirit Ashes. The boss there is the Putrid Tree Spirit, a scarlet rot-filled beast. I don't like that. I don't want none of that. And you'll get some Spirit Ashes. The Redmane Knight, Olga, she wields a great bow. The longest-serving member of the Redmane Knights. She studied techniques to manipulate gravity alongside Radahn, and she may use a rain of arrows in response to a war cry when you summon her, but only once, which is kind of cool.
There's also a painting. One of the paintings, the location is...
Yes, we discussed that.
Yeah.
I think we kind of discussed that on the last episode.
Maybe.
We did, because you find the queue for it in Celia, but yeah, you have to jump down the side there. It's not easy to get to, but that you get from up there, not from the wasteland.
Yeah, but I almost found it. I got real close, and I'm not quite there because
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Just don't wake up the golem.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, don't wake him up.
Fuck.
And that's Caelid.
It's a no good, very bad place, and I would not recommend going there. Vacation destination, not very good, although Dave Matthews does play there.
Dave Matthews goes
on every tour.
He goes to Detroit sometimes, you know. Like,
Well, the reason I like it is it just reminds me of the eclipse from Berserk, essentially. Which, yeah,
I'm not there yet.
you'll get there.
yeah,
It's the most tragic part of Berserk.
Hey Dylan,
basically what makes
can
it.
you do me a
Berserk.
favor and get on the goddamn Discord? I asked you on there to bring me a copy of Berserk. I actually want to borrow it because I want to read it. Yeah,
I just finished volume 1. It's very, very good.
yeah, I'm ready to borrow it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
You have to give me the logon information.
you don't have your lock-on information.
I got a new phone since then. No,
You could have just asked me.
I didn't think to do it.
I don't know your password. Did you try Brad's a poopy head?
Brad is a poopy head. Oh my god, I'm
He's in, everyone. He's back.
in.
It's so funny you couldn't log in. I was like, why is he not on there? Hilarious. Yeah,
Oh, he's
Caelid does have a beauty to it. Caelid's not. I mean, it does have a unique look. The music's fun. It is mean though. It is very mean. But it's one of those things though that I appreciate the splendor of hell.
Yeah, it's cool when you go back after you get your ass whooped. It's one of those really gratifying moments of like, now I can handle this. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's what I enjoy about it. But that's really the only thing because everything else there is scary and I hate it.
Yeah, go buy a beast repellent torch.
I know, that would have been so nice to know.
Yeah.
I must have missed that merchant.
Yeah. I mean, that one's not. Sometimes you don't look through the items because sometimes you see a torch and you're like, it's a torch.
I'm thinking maybe that because
There's like 3 or 4 different torches, and I didn't fuck around with anything other than just the main one. And I should just use a different one because they'll still light things up, but they have different properties.
I think probably what happened is I had the lantern by this point, and I was like, why the fuck would I buy another torch? I can just turn my lantern
That
on.
is a very good reason, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
I don't read half the stuff that comes up in merchant things anymore. There's just too many items to focus on, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this right now.
I go in. Do you have any cracked pots? No, I will be on my way.
Goodbye. Thank you for your time. Just like the grandpa and Simpsons, you just walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
Where's my pets?
I think some of my biggest memories of Elden Ring, a lot of them happened in Caelid.
Right.
A lot of the most like terrifying and like what the fuck moments happen there. Partially because I stumbled into them early, but also there are just the number of things that just fuck you up there is exciting.
It is. It's the most unique looking, I think, of all the areas. Aside from like the Altus Plateau with all those big spears in the ground, and there's like this holy energy around it, like golden fields. I think it's probably the most unique looking part of the game.
I actually think Altus Plateau is the least exciting area.
Least exciting, but I think artistically it has the most going on.
The windmill villages are fun.
I agree. I agree with you, Dylan.
Yeah.
It looks like it has like a history to it, and actually feels a little bit more like there was an actual like battle here. Like in a lot of the other places, I'm like, I guess,
And
sorta.
it's super pretty.
Yeah.
And Caelid is not hell. The capital. The capital is hell. I fucking hated the capital way more than I hate Caelid.
Have you been to the Lake of Rot?
Yeah. But I had
That's hell.
Flame cleanse me.
yeah, I just ran through that shit and then cleansed myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of MP.
Yeah. That was I mean, that's literal hell, but like
Yeah, well, the capital, not the capital, the sewers.
see, never been to the sewer.
Sewers fuck balls.
I'm
Suck balls. They fuck balls.
I'm really happy that I'm playing Elden Ring again. And I picked up a new character just
Well,
to
you started
shake
a
off the
new
rust.
character.
Well, you got to
You'll
shake
get
off
through
the
it.
rust.
It is kind of exponential how quickly you can get through it after starting a new character, because you know like the beats you have to hit right away.
Yeah.
Get your summon.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Get to the round table hold. Make sure you can upgrade past +3
Yeah.
uncommon items. Yeah.
I want to just take a quick look at what the upcoming schedule is for us. For Elden Dogs, our next episode will be the Riverwells. We're going to go down to Ainsel and Shofra. I'm definitely saying those wrong, but we will say them right for the episode.
Maybe
And
we will.
we will try to anyways. This episode, according to our potential schedule, up next in the Dogcast will be potentially a Call of Duty episode. This is recorded well in advance, though. So if you want access to these episodes early, please reach out to us on patreon.com/hearthedogcast. This has been available to our Patreon members for well over a month ahead of the main release. And speaking of Patreon, thank you so much for all of the support. If you want access to these episodes early, bonus podcast, the Discord, which Dylan is back on,
Yes.
which is exciting. Just go to patreon.com/hearthedogcast. It's a lot of fun and it's inexpensive. We work hard. We would appreciate it if you're listening. If you're listening, you haven't checked it out yet. You're making me upset and sad.
Don't make Brad angry.
Yeah, I'm already at syphilis 9.
Oh, God.
It could only get worse.
It
Thanks
only
to
goes up to 10.
Thanks to executive producers Ryan Christie, Nick, Tyler Keller, Kip, Brian Warden, Katie Bone. And, if you don't want to support us on Patreon, that's cool too. Thanks for listening.
Spread the word.
Tell your friends, write reviews. If we got anything wrong, which we probably might have, definitely not, though. Definitely not,
I
actually.
think the best compliment we can ever get is if you say, I listened to this at work, makes work less shitty.
Or if you send us 10 messages about how Dylan got X-Men or Spider-Man stuff wrong, I will be happy. Like
I won't listen. It's okay.
that was
Futility
I was like,
is-
Dylan, this guy's going off on you.
I'm like, I don't care.
And he wasn't right on everything either, if I remember.
No, he definitely wasn't.
Yes. So
I'm talking to you. Yes, you, the one who did that. Get a life.
and this has been Sir Gideon Ofnir, and I feel very smart.
I feel like I want to change my character. I'm thinking Gold Mask. I don't know.
Ooh,
Gold
kind of a blind religious zealot.
Yeah, he's funny though.
It's like, I know that there's a lot of proof the world isn't flat, but I don't care.
He just wants the world to laugh.
Just does
He's a silly clown man.
he doesn't talk
He's
much.
like the To me, he looks like the little son in Teletubbies, and he's just smiling at you, and
that sounds like
giggling.
That sounds like a fun.
Oh wait, you
Photoshop.
guys didn't hear the giggles?